Okay, good day everyone. Welcome to this insightful session on emerging technologies and digital transformation. No, in educational planning specifically. In today's rapidly evolving digital age, education is no longer confined to the four walls of the classroom. It is powered by innovation, connectivity, and data-driven decision-making. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, virtual and augmented reality, the Internet of Things, and cloud computing are transforming how schools operate, how teachers design instruction, and how students learn. Digital transformation, meanwhile, involves rethinking educational systems, policies, and processes to ensure they remain adaptive, inclusive, and future ready. Through this session, we aim to understand how these technologies can be strategically integrated into educational planning to enhance quality, equity, and efficiency across all levels of learning. To deepen our understanding of the timely and transformative topic, we are privileged to have with us our presenter who will share valuable insight on how educational leaders can leverage technology to improve planning, management, and delivery of learning. Let us all welcome our presenter who will discuss the trends, challenges, and opportunities brought about by digital transformation in education. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm virtual or actual round of applause to our presenter. Go ahead.
Okay, so thank you, Doc. Good evening, everyone. So my topic is about educational emerging technology and digital transformation in educational planning. So for the lesson objectives, we will define what is planning and then what is educational planning, and discuss what are the emerging technologies in educational planning. We also list other future digital transformation in education and provide the importance of digitalization in educational planning. So educational transformation is increasingly influenced by emerging technologies, which are unique opportunities to redefine learning. Education in 21st century has seen a profound transformation driven by the accelerated and advanced emerging technologies. In this context, tools such as artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and then adaptive learning and gamification have begun to be integrated into classroom, providing unprecedented opportunities to enrich teaching and learning. This is according to Gorney et al. And Jabu et al. So, before that, let's discuss ano po ba yung planning. So, according to Oxford Dictionary, it is a detailed proposal for doing and achieving something. It is an intention or decision about what one is going to do. And then, it is a design or a make plan. And according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it is a method for achieving an end, an open customary method of doing something, and it is a detailed formulation of a program or action. So since alam na natin si planning, let's proceed with educational planning. So according to ScienceDirect.com, educational planning generally is understood to be the identification or development and implementation of strategies designed to attain efficiently and effectively the education needs and goals of students and society. And then according to Online Note Bank, educational policy, planning is a process utilized by administrator while performing the role of leader, decision maker, change agent, and so on. It is the basic management task. It is means of achieving higher levels of effectiveness. Its uniqueness lies in its future orientation or anticipation mode. So the question is there a need for digital transformation in educational planning? So obviously the answer natin dyan is yes no po. Meron po talagang pangangailangan. Pero ano po ba yung kailangan natin? So kagaya po ng binanggit ni Doc kanina sa introduction, we need interconnectivity. So, paano po ba natin ma-achieve tong interconnectivity? Allow me to discuss muna po kung paano po natin siya ma-achieve. No po? So, this is a history kung paano po tayo nag-come up doon sa tinatawag natin na IoT. So, from 1969 to 2000, ang tawag po natin dito is the Internet of Geeks, na kung saan ang uma-access po ng internet ay yung mga nasa academia o yung nasa academia. So, bakit? No po, kasi during this time, nandito po yung mahal na presyo ng computer na tanging yung mga nag-aaral lamang po sa medyo sikat na institusyon at school, sila po yung nakaka-avail ng computer. And then from 2000 up to 2007, ano na po, itong tawag natin dito is the Internet of Masses, na kung saan nagsulputan na yung iba't ibang internet cafe. And then, from 2007 and 2011, ang tawag din natin dito is the mobile internet, na kung saan naging mas madali, mas mabilis ang pag-access natin ng internet because of our mobile phones. And then from 2012 and beyond, na andito na po tayo sa Internet of Things and Internet of Everything, na kung saan si Internet of Things and Internet of Everything meron siyang isang ipinapangako. So that the promise of IoT, in the advent of new technology, everything that is not connected to the internet will be then connected to the internet. Ito po yung mga kinakailangan natin para po ma-revolutionize yung pag-aaral or yung way ng pag-aaral natin. Nasabi nga po ng kanina sa introduction, hindi lamang po tayo nako-contain sa loob ng apat na sulok ng classroom. Ngayon, tingnan po natin ano po ba yung ano po ba yung mga technologies na po pwede nating gamitin. So, the incorporation of these technologies poses significant challenges that must be addressed specifically in terms of their effectiveness, their alignment with pedagogical theories, and the preparation of educators to use them effectively. That is according to Contact et al. So there's a growing need for technology in education. With the constant changes in edtech or educational technology, it can be challenging to keep up with the emerging technologies. With let's take a look of some of emerging technologies na ginagamit po sa academia. So unahin na po natin is the artificial intelligence. No po? So artificial intelligence or yung AI, ang tawag po kasi natin kay AI is machine learning. AI quickly takes its place in education as schools and institutions learn to implement the feature. So far, AI has positively affected the classroom, impacting instructional planning and personalized learning. So ngayon, meron tayong challenge pagdating sa pag-i-implement kay AI kasi naaabuso daw po ang paggamit ng artificial intelligence na kung saan ang base po sa ating mga nababasa na ang kabataan daw po ay nagiging tamad at dumedepende kay AI, especially sa mga ipinapasa nila no po na mga output sa school. Hindi lamang estudyante, even teachers po, one of the challenge kasi is kung paano natin gagamitin si AI ng tama. Yung ibang teachers po nakarely na sa paggawa ng lesson plan kay AI. Ang iba po ay gumagawa rin po ng PowerPoint gamit kay AI. Actually, wala namang mong problem na kung gagamitin natin si AI as reference, as inspiration sa mga gagawin natin. But not to the point na tayo po ay tatamarin na at fully si AI na lang talaga yung gagawa. So with that, tingnan po natin ano po ba yung benefits na kayang itulong ni AI sa educational planning at sa classroom setup po natin. So for example, nasa administration po tayo, we can use chatbots and virtual assistants. And then we can have these automated grading and assessment, intelligent tutoring systems, curriculum planning, learning analytics, and content recommendation. Kagaya po nung binanggit ko sa dulo, si AI pwedeng mag-serve yan as inspiration. Pwede po natin siyang gamitin as a reference no po, for our contents. Pero not totally na idedepende po lahat ng gawa natin kay AI. So, napakagaling din po ni AI for curriculum planning. Why? Kasi kaya niyang mag-suggest na mga po pwede nating gawin. Example, last time nagkaroon po kami ng meeting regarding po, kagaya po ng binanggit kay DRR, kasi ako po ay taga Laguna rin, no po. Ano ba yung mga po pwede nating gawin? Ang lagi ko sinasabi, po pwede natin tanungin si AI kung ano po ba yung mai-recommenda niya. So, marami po talaga siyang recommendations na actually sobrang valuable po at magagamit natin sa pang-araw-araw do yung mga suggestions niya. So, next po natin. Another technology is the virtual reality and the augmented reality. So yung virtual reality natin and augmented reality, VR and AR are learning tools na po pwedeng makatulong sa atin para ma-facilitate yung interactive learning experiences natin. Student benefit from immersive learning opportunities as they engage in simulated environment. No, these tools can help with challenging subjects, turning a complex subject into an enjoyable experience. So ang school po namin ay sobrang lucky because meron po kaming 21st century classroom. So ito pong 21st century classroom ay binigay sa tulong po ng DOST na po. Nagkaroon po kami ng mga gantong gamit. Meron po kaming mga augmented reality, meron po kaming smart screen, meron po kaming mga drones, and then other mga pan-simulate 3D printers na ibinigay po si DOST. No po. So ano po ba yung benefits ni virtual reality in education context? No po. Ang kagandahan dito, meron tayong skill learning experience. So si VR kasi provides spaces for skill experiences that lead to practical learning. It also promotes learning by doing. Students can learn by doing when using VR goggles. And then, next po natin is visual learning. So, ang mga students po natin, sabi nga po natin, 80% of the students are visual learners. So, kagaya po, ang purpose kasi ng visual information, unang-una, is to gain attention. Mas nagiging yung attention ng bata kapag marami po siyang nakikita na bago at interesting sa mata niya. Another is yung visual information creates meaning. And then lastly, yung pinakamahalaga lagi, kapag tayo ay naggagawa ng presentation, it should facilitate retention. Yung mga nakikita ng bata, yun yung mga bagay na naaalala niya. So let's proceed. Another is augmented reality. Augmented reality in education refers to the integration of digital content such as images, videos, 3D models, and interactive elements into the real world, which students can access through devices like smartphones, tablets, or AR glasses. By blending this virtual elements with the physical environment, AR creates an interactive learning experience that goes beyond traditional textbooks and statistic visual. Para saan po ba itong AR and VR na ginagawa natin? No po. Una-una, it enhances student engagement, improve conceptual understanding, and then interactive learning. And then lastly, is personalized learning. Ano yung nagiging problem natin pagdating dito? So, ang problem natin pagdating dito is the implementation. Kasi unang-una, we need to buy Google goggles, no po? Or yung mga goggles na intended for augmented reality. Kung wala man pong goggles, kailangan din po natin ng smartphones or kahit anong tablet para po ma-implement natin itong AR. So, with that, halos lahat naman po ng mga kabataan ngayon ay meron daw pong cellphones. So, wala tayong magiging problem. So, ang gagawin na lang po natin is yung interconnectivity issue. Kailangan kasi i-installan din natin yung mga bata ng application na gagamitin nila para ma-apply po nila yung ganitong type ng technology. So, saan po ba usually ginagamit tong AR and VR? So, ginagamit natin to for visual simulation. Example, kung tayo po ay meron pong physical na field trip, po pwede na daw po tayo mag-field trip virtually. Kasi nga daw po, gagamit po tayo ng mga augmented and mga VR lenses. Okay? So kasi ang kayang gawin nito is kaya niyang yung isang picture, kaya niya pong ipakita ng parang nagiging totoo na po talaga siya. Okay? So nagiging 3D na rin po yung inilalabas niya na resulta. Okay. So next natin, blockchain. So ang blockchain is essential tech tool, no. Kung bakit ko isinama si blockchain, kasi nababanggit po lagi every time po na nagkakaroon tayo ng reporting is the security. So blockchain, ito po yung magiging sagot, no. Blockchain is essential tech tool. Okay, so technological tool din siya. With this tool, institution can secure important information and verifications. This process expedites digital transcript and credentials. Yung integration of blockchain technology in the education system has potential to greatly improve the efficiency, security, and credibility of the education process na kung saan ito po ay makakatulong not only sa management para maplano po yung mga future plans natin. So at the same time po, makatulong din po ito para mas mapabilis yung process natin. Okay? So, by creating secure and transparent platforms for tracking and verifying students' academic achievements, blockchain technology can help to create more accessible and trustworthy education system, making it easier for students to showcase their skills and knowledge to potential employers. So, ganun po yung kaganda yung ipinapromise ni blockchain. Ito yung key use cases po ni blockchain in education. Unang-una, it's for record keeping. Safe record keeping na po, to be exact. Sunod po, we can provide e-transcripts. Okay? And then we can decentralization of the institution, and then copyright protection, and then financing education. Yung blockchain works in education by creating secure, tamper-proof digital record and academic achievements like diplomas, transcript, and student can own and share. No po. So, ibig sabihin, kahit nag-i-issue tayo ng mga digital na transcript natin and records and diploma, so nakakatulong po si blockchain para ma-secure po ito. No po. So, next po natin, gamification. Karamihan po sa ating mga teachers, tinatry na natin maging interactive yung classroom setup po natin. Gamification of education is a strategy for increasing engagement by incorporating game elements into an educational environment. No po. That is according to the CHEV and the CHEBA 2017. So the goal of the is to generate levels of involvement equal to what games can usually produce. So dito ang pinopromote kasi natin, unang-una, ang bata nag-e-enjoy na sa ginagawa nila. At the same time, habang nag-e-enjoy ang bata, natututo po sila. So the main goals of gamification are to enhance certain abilities, introduce objectives that give learning a purpose, engage students, and optimize learning. Nasusuportahan po nito yung behavior, pagbabago, and pakikipag-socialize ng mga bata. That is according to Nutas et al., Cross, and Decheb and Decheba. No po? And Borges et al. Okay, so ang gamification, unang-una, ang purpose nito is engagement through play. So, nai-improve po ang ating classroom setup using this. At the same time, namamotivate yung bata and nagkakaroon ng reward. Actually, the game itself is rewarding na sa mga bata kasi natututo sila habang naglalaro po sila. Another pinopromote po nito is the problem-solving skills ng mga bata. Another is, nagpo-foster siya ng collaboration, especially kung ang game ay kailangan po ng team effort na po. Another is tracking progress and growth and setting, achieving goals. Na po. The only problem lang po na po pwede nating ma-encounter during sa implementation ng mga bagay nito is yung kakulangan po natin ng infrastructure, kakulangan sa access sa teknolohiya, at syempre po, lagi po natin pinag-uusapan budget. Yun nga po, kasi nga po, ang nangyayari sa atin is mahihirapan po tayong i-implement dahil po ang pag-i-implement ng mga ganitong bagay ay proseso. Just what happened last time na po, ako po ngayon ay nagtuturo ng empowerment technology. Ano po yung nakita ko? Nung nagkaroon po kami ng simulation with regarding to ISA, sa PISA, okay? Ang nangyari po kasi, since ang exam po ng PISA ay online, na kinakailangan na rin po ng internet, at computer para makapag-exam po tayo. Ang nakita ko, hindi po basta-basta pala ang problema ng bata ay hindi lamang doon po sa kung ano yung nalalaman niya patungkol dun sa subject. Ang nakikita ko pong problema dito is kung paano po gagamitin ng bata yung computer para makapag-exam. Nakakita po kasi ako ng ilang bata na natatakot silang gumamit ng computer. For what reason? Natatakot po silang gumamit ng computer dahil natatakot silang masira po ito or magkamali sa paggamit ng computer. So ibig sabihin, hindi lamang po pala talaga kung ano po yung pinag-aaralan yung problema. Ibig sabihin, yung access, yung equal access sa mga gantong technology dapat binibigyan din pong pansin ng ating mga school administrators. Okay, so let's proceed. Ano po ba yung future pa na technologies in school setting? Meron po ako ditong binanggit na tatlo. Una, that is quantum computing. In education, quantum computing can revolutionize the way students learn deeper concepts. So, these functions may enable advanced data analysis, modeling, and simulations. Another po is neuromorphic computing. These futuristic technologies can advance cognitive computing and build systems capable of learning and adapting. And then lastly, biometric authentication. So this biometric authentication, madalas po ito ginagamit na natin. This is readily available sa ating mga cellphones, sa ating mga devices. Biometric technology could someday secure access to educational materials. This emerging as some students and educators may use their face ID or fingerprints to unlock academic tablets and computers. Actually, marami pong gamit ang biometric. No po? So ngayon po, ginagamit natin si biometric for security. So security sa ating mga devices, security sa ating mga data. So security rin po, for example, sa atin meron na rin tayong mga iris scanner no po, for our identity. So ang alam ko nga po, si iris scanner po ay ginamit na para sa national ID natin. No po? So hindi ko lang po alam kung saan pa po natin magagamit yung ibang purpose nito. No? So next natin, ano po ba talaga ang importance ng digitalization in educational planning? So yung mga nabanggit ko, alam naman po natin, those technologies ay magagamit natin sa school setup, kung tayo man po ay teacher, kung tayo po ay nag-handle ng mga estudyante, kung tayo po ay may mga anak na estudyante, kung meron tayong mga anak na estudyante. So lahat po yon kung tayo po ay administrator, principals, school heads, or head teachers, so lahat po yun po pwede nating magamit para sa educational planning. So unang-una, we can choose the best choice as an alternative. No po? Yung modern educational planning is logical and systematic and scientific process different from elementary kinds or procedures utilized in the past, bringing out changes in the system of education. So we can integrate those emerging technologies for our educational planning and for our classroom setup. This educational planning promotes teamwork. So, ang pag-i-implement ng mga ganung teknolohiya, hindi lamang po obligasyon ng isa, kundi obligasyon po ng lahat. Yung modern educational planning emphasis, the top administrator or the government should be involved in planning. Planning should be a responsibility of all people concerned with the desire to change. And then next po natin is cooperation. It emphasizes involvement of representatives of most and concerned sectors of the society in the process of planning. Yung cooperative planning is considered an important principles of planning in all fields. Next is anticipation. It anticipates probable developments and needed change in future. So much ahead of time so that proper facilities supporting media and required resources for implementing and plan change may be secured. And the next natin is remedial measures. Educational planning is remedial and guidance oriented. So with appropriate planning procedures, it is possible to identify maladjustments or deficiencies in the system that cause educational problems. And then lastly, scientific changes. So made on ad hoc or ibig sabihin ng ad hoc is necessary, piecemeal basis to solve immediate problems may create some kind of problems in the course of time. Hence, modern educational planning carefully and objectively collects data, interprets, analysis, interrelationship between present and future needs. So to conclude everything, digital transformation in education is a core factor in improving teaching and learning quality while optimizing management processes and ensuring information security. The application of advanced technologies like AI and digital content not only creates flexible and highly interactive learning environment, but also increase the efficiency of educational management in the digital age. So that ends my discussion. Thank you very much po.
Okay, so thank you so much. No, the presentation emphasized that emerging technologies are catalysts, no, for innovation in educational planning. No, it highlighted how artificial intelligence supports data analytics for student performance, tracking, and predictive decision making, while cloud-based system improve collaboration, data accessibility, and efficiency in school management. So the use of virtual and augmented reality enriches experiential learning and provides immersive environments for both students and teachers. Additionally, technologies like blockchain, IoT, and machine learning offer opportunities for transparent credentialing, no, smart classrooms, and personalized education. So the discussions underline that digital transformation is not merely about adapting technology, it's about redesigning systems and mindset. Because effective educational planning must integrate technology with human-centered design, inclusive policies, and continuous capacity building for teachers and administrators. And this ensures that technology becomes a tool for empowerment, not exclusion. So school must also address challenges such as digital equity, uh, cybersecurity, and data privacy to ensure responsible and ethical use of digital tools. Digital transformation provides a powerful roadmap for creating smarter, more resilient, and more responsive educational system. As leaders, no, as leader in education, no, and educators, it is our responsibility, no, to embrace these emerging technologies thoughtfully, aligning innovation with educational goals to prepare learners for the challenges and opportunities of the uh, 21st century. Okay, so that's it.